All right, we're here with Rick Lucia, the promoter from Fonda Speedway. We're talking to some of the guys about your series coming up with Utica Rome, putting up quite a bit of money for that.
Well, you know, we got together over the winter, and I talked to Gene Cole, and Gene and I think a lot alike, and I said, why don't we try something where we do something, we'll call it Thunder Along the Thruway, and we'd have something that, you know, would be good for a lot of the local guys. It may not bring in a lot of the big outsiders. We've got some committed to it now, but the idea is it's a case where maybe we can do the... This is Howie's... okay, all right.
Howie Commander's son, yeah.
But anyway, the bottom line is it'll be good for the two local tracks without a lot of traveling. It'll be good for the people because there won't be a lot of traveling.
Absolutely, and I don't know if you remember me telling you when I talked to you a few years ago, my view on anything like this, if it's good for racing, it's good for your track.
But, you know, ultimately what we got to concentrate on is it needs to be good for the tracks, good for the fans, and good for the competitors, and I think that's what this series does.
You think the rest will just take care of itself, basically, if you cover those bases?
You know, we got a lot of difficulty right now in that we're dealing with the economy and everything else, but so far this year we've had some pretty good races at Fonda, and it's been pretty kind to us so far. So now we're coming into the better part of the summer. Hopefully these things will heat up, and the people will like the series, and the drivers will like the series. And we've already got some commitments from some people, so I think it's interesting, you know, and we'll just have to see what happens.
Now, I've always said, I know Howie don't want to hear it, but I've always said Fonda has some of the best racing in the Northeast. I've only seen one bad race there ever. It was a few years back. One time when I talked to you, it was speeding heat. You know, 100 degrees out just about with a day race. You're really not going to get a good race under those circumstances anyway, but on your typical night, the racing at Fonda is pretty much just as good as anywhere else in the Northeast.
You know, ultimately, I think every racetrack's trying to produce a good product, but I think Fonda, because of the nature of the track, the shape of the track, you know, it's like bull ring racing, but it's a bigger racetrack, and they're going 30 miles an hour faster doing it. But ultimately, you know, the drivers we have a lot of depth in each of our fields and each of our classes. It's a very competitive place to race, and you know, we've struck on a few things with the racetrack, and like after we suffered through that 100-lap race and we had one lane, I said we got to do something different. This year at McDonald's weekend we did something different and it worked, so we got to stick with what works.
It was great racing at McDonald's weekend last year. Great end of the season. Now I got to ask you, this Barron, I mean, Bobby Barron thinks he's like Jack Johnson or something out there winning every week. Are you gonna put like a bounty on his head or make him put 50 extra pounds on the car or anything?
No, you know, we have a lot of guys right now at Fonda that are very close, and it's a very competitive deal. And I might do something where we'll do one of those bounties or something just for fun and to spice things up a little bit. But, you know, ultimately, you know, on any given day, we got probably 8 or 10 guys that have the potential to win a race. But in Bobby's particular case, he stayed with the big block. He kept working with that combination, and he's got it going good now. Now other guys have got to work to catch up, and they'll do it.
Most of the guys do still run 358 there, correct?
No, the other night when he beat Ryan Odaz, Ryan had his big block in. Now Jack's got a big block in, and Ronnie's got a big block in, so maybe the tide's changing again.
Now, from a fan's point of view, because I mean, obviously you're a racing fan as well, or you wouldn't be in this, what did you think of seeing Jumpin' Jack Johnson in Victory Lane? Did you think you'd see that again, or...?
Well, you know what, early in the night I was standing there and trying to watch the race play out, and I said, you know, he's going to go to the bottom and see if something's down there. He slows the race car down a lot, and he gets it to turn good, and then he started picking them off coming up. And I said, you know, I think he got started too late, but he proved to us all that he's still got a little spark there.
Well, I couldn't believe it. It was enough he won, but then to follow it up the next night down the road at Utica Rome, it's unbelievable. It's like a throwback 20 years.
You know, with Elton and Carroll right now, though, he's got some good equipment and everything, and that's what it takes. You can't go to the gunfight with a 22 if you need an Uzi. So he's got some good equipment now, and, you know, him and Ronnie share a lot of thoughts and work together, and I think it's a pretty good combination.
Well, he told me that Ronnie did the setup, and that's why he won, but I think he's giving Ronnie too much credit.
You know, years ago, if you asked Jack, you know, how do you think your son will be, he used to tell you he's going to be better than me, and I think that's the relationship with the father and son, and they get along really good, they share a lot of information, it's a pretty good deal, you know?
It is amazing that father and son to get along that well. I mean, they both seem to like totally idolize each other.
And they think a lot alike. Their heads in the racing game. You know, they want to race and they want to be successful and they want to do good. And that's an important thing right now in our sport.
Yeah, it is. Image is everything in this sport. You know, with anything, you want to attract the kids. You want to make it good for generations to come, and keep the sport preserved for the future.
Well, you know, I'm pretty much of the mindset right now is we got to do everything we can to preserve our sport. I'm still very passionate about it. We've had some good racing at Fonda so far this year, and I hope the rest of the year it'll play out like that. But I think the economy's put a hurt on a lot of people, and the only thing we can do is try and give them a good product for the right money, and hopefully people will turn out.
Well, I think that's one of the beauties of racing, though, is that as far as entertainment goes, where are you going to get 4, 5, 6 hours of entertainment for, maybe $20 tops? Usually, if you go to a rock concert, you're going to pay $50 and it's over in 2 hours. So,
and I think that's one of the things that keeps families, staying together and coming to the races, and next generation coming up and being interested in the sport. I mean, it's still, in today's world, a pretty affordable night out.
I agree. Well, Rick, it was great talking to you, and we'll probably be seeing you at one of your series races, and good luck with it all.
All right, thank you.